Hello ladies and gentlemen. In this tutorial we're going to be doing some colour work in Adobe After Effects. Now when it comes to manipulating colour in either Premiere Pro or After Effects, there's two terms that you may have heard of. One is called colour correction and the other one is called colour grading, and they can sometimes be slightly mixed up and misunderstood. Now colour correction is when you've actually got an image like I've got here that's perhaps not the colour that you want. This is slightly grey, slightly flat. And if we want to sort of actually improve the image and make it slightly better, that would often be known as colour correction. Another term some of you may have heard of is a term called colour grading. And that actually is a slightly different technique. Colour grading is when you might be happy with the image, but you're actually changing the colour, brightness, lightness, tone, whatever it may be, to actually change the atmosphere and the nature of the image. So as an example, on this particular shot that I've got here, you might do colour grading to change the sky to make it maybe slightly bluer or slightly redder. And colour grading we'll come to in another tutorial. But for the moment, we're going to focus on colour correction, which will be the manner that you might want to use if you're not happy with the footage and you want to get it looking the way that you want. Now in my case I've got an image here that is, again, it's not terrible, but it's a little bit flat, a little bit grey and a little bit dull. Now I'm going to select the image in the timeline here. I'm going to go to Effect, and obviously we're probably going to be looking at colour correction. Now brightness and contrast, to be honest, they're ones that are sort of moderately appropriate on occasion, but they don't give you a great deal of control, and I would say that you probably want to avoid them. The ones that are probably more effective are curves and levels, and we're going to start with levels. Now when it pops up, you've got a histogram here, and at the moment it's slightly, well, there's not a great deal to look at. It's just got a slight cross in the middle. It hasn't analysed the footage yet. You might want to give one of these little triangles here, or these sliders, a little nudge, and it actually analyses the footage a little bit more effectively. If you tap on it, it will switch between colour adjustments, and in this case, brightness adjustments. You can do that here as well by flicking between the two. We're going to focus on this one here, and this is essentially the brightness and contrast, but in a little bit more detail. Now to explain these sliders, this one here will boost, as you can see, the white portions of the image. This one here will boost the blacks in the image. The one in the middle will boost or alter the greys or the midtones of the image. So to give them the technical terms, this is the highlights. These are the blacks. Whoops, just grab that there, sorry. And this is known as gamma, or sometimes the midtones of an image. These sliders down below here, which are your output black and output white, are used if you're outputting your work for broadcast on television. So we'll probably leave those for the time being on this tutorial. Okay, so let's get to work on this image. I'm just going to reset it, and if we look at the histogram, it can actually tell us a good deal. The actual brightness portion of the image is, well, as you can see, fairly white, and in fact it may be the case that up here in this top left it's too white and we may not really be able to adjust that, but we'll do our best. Let's have a look at the grey portions of the image. We can slide that slightly, and already the image is improving a little. If you look at the grass in particular, what you might find is it actually starts to boost the colours as well. But I'm going to reset it because the real problem is actually the blacks. And as you can see here, if I slide this, that little slider, this one here for black, there's no black above it. We should actually see something like that over the black part, and there's none at all. And this indicates, if you look above here, there is literally nothing to look at. No part of the histogram has been activated above this black slider, which indicates there's no, well, there's some black in the image, but really not a great deal. So to improve the blacks, I'm going to grab that and slide it to the right. We can see that the image does start to become slightly richer. If you find the image becomes a little bit too colourful as you do it, you might want to grab the midtones here and pull them back to the left just to sort of correct that, because you might find it sort of saturates the image a bit. I'm going to slide it to about there. That should do the job. I'm going to just pull that back a bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's not too bad. Ultimately, it is really just that little bit too bright here, and we can't fully adjust that because, as you can see, we can't pull bright out, or rather the highlights anymore. It's gone as far right as it can go. But nevertheless, the image has improved. I'm going to click on FX here to show you the before and now the after. And as you can see, it's improved a lot of the blacks, and the density, or to give it its technical term, the dynamic range has improved slightly in the image. It's actually boosted the colours as well, which is a slightly hidden benefit. So let's just reset that one more time. And just to reiterate, this will boost the whites, but we really don't want to do that. There's enough in there already. This will do the midtones, or the grey portions of the image, and I'm probably going to park that about there. But the real job is with the blacks, which I'm going to slide to there. And the image now does look a little bit more balanced. Not perfect by any means, but certainly better than it was. So levels is something you really want to consider when you're trying to boost a grey or slightly flat and dull image that you've shot. Okay folks, hope you found that useful. See you in the next tutorial.